Hey, what's up, guys? Students of Western School of Science and Technology. I guess, well, just the AVID program and the senior seminar. Thanks for having me. I'm just going to go through these questions. And my apologies. Usually I have like a audio setup with like it's got like an auto tune thing and like a soundboard. But right now I'm just in a hotel. I was driving to Sacramento from, so I went from Phoenix to Vegas. I'm in Vegas right now. Was driving to Sacramento and got a flat tire. Had to come back here to Vegas, and they're working on my car. So I'm at the Cosmopolitan Hotel because it was a really cheap deal. So I don't have all of my stuff with me. All right, so let's get right into these questions. And thanks for asking all the questions, and thanks for having me. Forever underscore Luly. I just don't want to pronounce that wrong. Lourdes Garza. I love all my friends. I love all my family. All right, your question. How do you know that you wanted to start a speaking career? Oh, also, I don't read any of these questions until I start this live. I just feel like you give more of an authentic answer that way. How did you know that you wanted to start a career in speaking? Can it work for other careers? Was it a good choice? Yes. Actually, I'm not sure which group you were in. I did a couple different talks at your school, but how did I know I wanted to do a speaking career? I didn't actually know, decided to try it, liked it, and decided to commit to it. I think I know a lot of speakers who've been in the speaking world for 10 plus years, and they haven't received much success because basically they don't fully commit. So I went all in. First I started reaching out to schools and after school programs everywhere just to speak for free and just to learn more. Actually, what I did was I'd reach out to a school. Anytime I saw a teacher, I'm like, hey, how would you like to take the day off tomorrow? And they're always like, tell me more. I'm like, I'd like to come to your school and give the same speech to each of your 7 classes in the day. And I just did the same speech over and over and over and over until I tightened it up. So I do, 6 or 7 of the speeches in a day. And after every class, in between classes, I'd write notes of where I think good parts were and what parts I want to take out. And I make real-time changes. And I did probably close between 600 to 800 talks for free until I could get good enough. Granted, I could have started getting paid earlier, but I cared more about being good at what I did than being paid for what I did. It seems counterintuitive, but if you're good, people will value you. So a lot of people promote their value without actually promoting their skill. And I want to be the best speaker possible. So I did that over and over and over. Now, whatever career it is you want to choose, just like I said, I don't know if I said in the speech, but I say a lot, if you want to get paid for doing what you would do for free, do it for free. If you do something for free long enough, you develop a skill. Once you have a skill, you can monetize that skill, but that is extremely difficult to do. And the cooler a job is, the more people aspire to be that thing, the more competitive it would be. So the 2 questions I always ask people to ask themselves when they're choosing a career or choosing a path or choosing a passion. First question, is it difficult? If the answer is no, choose something else. Is it difficult? If the answer is yes, the next question is it worth it? If it's difficult, yes, and it's worth it, yes, I say pursue it. I say if it's difficult, yes, but if it isn't worth it, don't do it. So that's kind of how I set my goals. So whatever your career wants, if you want to do hair, start doing all of your friends' hair for free. And just ask them, post online, make up a hashtag, make up social media profile, and every time you do someone's hair, you post pictures on there, you have reviews, you get known for doing that. So I often say, if you want to grow your social media following, because a lot of people are like, follow me back, follow me back. Why do you want a bunch of followers? Now, if you want to do hair and you offer a service, yeah, that's why you would want a lot of followers. So you have to continue to produce CQC, consistent quality content. So whatever it is you're aspiring to be, whatever you're doing, if you want to grow a following from doing that, you have to put out consistent quality content, and with your following comes your credibility. But again, I would need to know a little more specifics about that. But literally any career path you aspire to take, you got to start now. Don't think you're going to start when you're 18 or start when you're older. Start now. If you lose everything you have and you're 16, yeah, you don't have much. You have nothing to lose. Take your risk. The difference between you and I, if I were to lose everything, I would be homeless. You lose everything, you're pretty much in the same spot you're in. So I would say start now, see what you like, and do what you love. Next question. Fernando Esquesada. Cinco cinco. Oh, yours is in Spanish. Man, let's see if I have a translator. I'm going to come back to your question. Que ha si... Man, I'm not even connected to Wi-Fi right now. I really want to answer this question. I'm going to type this in. Para segu. I should have took Spanish class like a little more seriously. Who would have known that this would have... Actually, let's see how far I can get in it. So, ¿qué ha sido tu motivación para seguir adelante todos estos años? Años, year. What year did I start boxing? What year did I start motivational speaking? I started motivational speaking. I don't even know if this is the question you're asking. I'm going to double check. But I started motivational speaking maybe about 2009. Oh, about 10 years now. All right, Fernando, I'm going to get back to your question. My apologies. I can't even remember how to say Spanish and say sorry in Spanish. All right, Wolfstar805. Do you ever think of giving up on boxing while you were doing it? Yeah, I know a lot of people are like, oh, never thought about quitting. Yeah, I did. Problem is, in boxing, and a lot of people don't know this, when you're on the national team, you're making just $1,000 a month. And I travel so much and I box so much, I can't have another job. So that's $12,000 a year. In 2018, the level of poverty for a single adult was $12,143. So I was living literally below the poverty level and expected to compete at the highest level. And a lot of times when I couldn't pay my phone bill or my phone was cut, or I saw my friends going out traveling, my friends have jobs and they're doing things and they're buying houses and cars, and I couldn't do any of that because I was chasing a dream, a dream that wouldn't actually provide me much financial stability, but I much rather chase a passion and do something I love than do something I hate for money. So, yeah, there's plenty of times I thought about quitting. One time I thought about quitting during the fight was in Colorado. The altitude, I got there the day before. I was dealing with the altitude. I was breathing so hard. It's difficult to fight in altitude. So, I always thought about quitting. Would never actually quit. I always entertain it, but I know, like, deep in my heart, I wouldn't. But it makes me feel better for the time being. Good question, Wolfstar. Next question. Oh, same question, Alexandra. _Sotomayor. Alex, birthday, or I think it's birthday, April 9th. Well, happy, super belated. Do you ever feel like giving up? Answer that. What kept you going when you were being brought down? This is Alvaro Tapia. Alvaro. What kept me going when I was being brought down? Actually, people who pick me up. Now, there are tons of negative people in the world and people who actually want to see you fail, but also people tend to forget about all of the folks out there that want to see them succeed. And we tend to look over them. You might think everybody wants to see my failure, everybody wants to see my downfall, but remember, your teachers, your parents, your relatives, your close friends, the parents of your close friends, people who care about, there's a lot of people who care about you. Okay, think about all the friends that you personally care about. Think about how many times you told them you love them. Probably never. So your friend that you have math class with, you're like, oh no, that's one of my best friends. I love them. But do you tell them you love them? So a lot of times they probably think, oh man, no one loves me. But I make it a point to remind the people I love them, that I love them. And I know sometimes with guys or even girls, like it's like you're uncomfortable, you want to be vulnerable enough to tell them you love them. So my thing that I do, and I do with all my friends, and they know me for it by now, is every so often I send you either a picture of a puppy, a kitten, or a video of babies laughing, or babies eating lemon for the first time. Because I see it, it makes me smile, it makes me happy, and when I send it to a friend, that's just me saying, hey, checking on you, just letting you know I love you, and I'm thinking about you. So if you get a dog picture from me, like a picture of puppies wearing like suits or outfits, that's how I remind my friends I love them. So I surround myself with people like that, so when there are people trying to bring me down, I ignore them because there's so many others that are willing to lift me up. All right, great question. BB Hispanic, that is Maria. No time to, I don't know. People write things upside down. I don't really know what a lot of things mean. Anyway. Your page is private, and I enjoy that your page is private because people shouldn't be seeing what's going on in your life unless you allow them to. All right, how old were you when you first started boxing and taking a lot of risk for your dream? I was 16, 17 when I started boxing. Didn't start boxing. I didn't start boxing because I thought I was going to be a good boxer. I started boxing because I was getting bullied, and I thought if I lost weight, I would stop being bullied. It wasn't to become a boxer. And also, if I lost weight, this one girl would go to prom with me. She didn't go. I didn't ask. And how, when did I start taking risk for my dreams? I just spoke about this earlier. You have no risk for your dreams right now. It's risk for reward. All you have is reward. You have nothing to lose. If you, let's say you have $100 to your name. If you lost that $100, so what? And anything you do right now to chase your dreams won't really cost you any money. There are paths to get to your dream that will cost you money, but learning about your business, whatever career path you aspire to be, take your risks now. Risk everything now. You have nothing to lose. But also, I'm like, set big dreams, but also have a backup plan. Have a secure backup plan. That's why an education is important. I learned that lesson pretty late in life, probably somewhere in my mid-20s. I was very hard-headed. But yeah, don't wait till later to chase your dreams. You can do it now. All right. Nasty_chicken wing. This is Alex Hermosilio. I don't know what that means. Probably shouldn't say words out loud that I don't know what they mean, but you know, ha. Okay. What do I need to win scholarship money for my education? It's a very vague question. Alex, well, here's the thing. Academic scholarships. There are academic scholarships, and I would actually say I can't answer that. It's way too vague of a question, but you have a guidance counselor. This is what guidance counselors are for. Take advantage of that. I wish I had a life guidance counselor now because there's a lot of things that I have questions about, and so I like to network and ask for friends, but you have a counselor. Any questions you need to know about scholarships and your best way to get them, start applying now. Boxing, Kansas City, we have a scholarship. You need to compete twice a year in boxing. You don't even need to win. You just need to compete twice a year. So make weight. Even if you lost the fights, it's okay. You just need, I believe it's a 2.5 GPA, which is pretty reasonable. And it's a full ride to the local community college in Kansas City. So there's different paths to take scholarships, to get scholarships like that. Also, Google, do your research. You guys can find out where you can get scholarships yourself. And think outside the box. Be innovative. Your girl Ruby. What up, Ruby? What is the biggest challenge you had to go through to get where you are now? Oh, my biggest challenge? One of my biggest challenges, which sounds silly, is my hard-headedness. I used to take the approach of I'd much rather fail doing it my way than succeed doing it someone else's. And, you know, as I get older, it's exhausting to continue doing things wrong until I stumble into doing things the way that it was told to do. So one of my biggest challenges was getting over my hard-headedness. I would see rules and purposely want to break them because, like, I want to do things my way. So, and some of the specific challenges weight, because after box I have to make a certain weight class, and I have a very unhealthy relationship with food. So it's important that I always work out, I exercise, but also eat clean. If it's a lot easier to maintain my weight when I'm eating clean, but I like junk food. Even though I'm vegan, I like French fries. I like vegan burgers. I like chips. But I have to learn to moderate that, and that was very difficult for me to do at first. Good question though. Angie LMJ, Angela, Arizonan. All right, Angela. Your question: if you could, would you have finished college even if it meant you would have never boxed? Like, part of me would want to lie to you right now, because as someone who's telling you to pursue an education, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't go. No, I wouldn't have. In hindsight, if I could go back, I would box, but I would also go to a trade school, learn plumbing, electrician, welding. I would learn a trade. Personally, I'm not the greatest student. I don't learn well in a normal classroom environment. I'm very hands-on. I'm very visual, and the college structure wouldn't be for me. Also, I would prefer doing something hands-on. So yeah, I wouldn't have finished college, but I would have gone to a trade school, which will still happen. Never too old to learn. But good question. Next question, Jose _Lopez _27. 1 second. Put a pin in this real quick. I'd like to apologize. My generation got on social media first, and we took all the cool handles, and now your generation is stuck with like underscores and dots and numbers after your names. They need to do Instagram needs to clean up every profile and delete them that hasn't been used in 2 or 3 years. Maybe 4 years. Some people might have gotten arrested, want to come out, still have the Facebook. I don't know. Anyway, Jose, he's a public figure. Snapchat, VONOSS456. Jose Lopez, he's 17. Your question, was there ever a time you felt like giving up? Answered that one already. Great question, though. Adin Zapian, and my apologies for pronouncing that wrong. He has a significant other, Arana. I probably pronounced that wrong on his bio, but I like that your page is private. Your question, how do you learn to deal with your anger in the ring when you lost a fight? I realize that's a layered question. And I can give you the standard, generic answer, I'm going to be a good role model, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's the thing. You don't make money boxing, but you make money through sponsorships and things of that sort. And once I realized that, I always knew I was a role model, but I was very passionate and hard-headed. And once I realized that I can lose sponsorships and credibility and people look down on me, that's when I realized if they look down on me, they're not going to look up to me as a role model, and I can't behave a certain way and preach that other people act a certain way. So I had to remember, I'm lose sponsorships, and I wouldn't be a role model if I continue to act like that. So I have to make myself behave. And you know what? Since I have, it has made my life a lot easier. Okay. Good question. Next question. Terearellanoo. Who got you into the mindset of having a positive outlook on things when things don't go in your favor? John Brown. John Brown, my coach. John Brown and Matt Mays. Matt Mays is my best friend, my brother, from another mother, but brother nevertheless. He's always had the attitude of it can always be worse. And I preach it, but he lives it and doesn't talk about it. I lived with Matt for probably about seven years, from when I was 17 to 25 or 26. We lived together. And one day he went to work, I was on the couch, he got out in the morning, went to his car, came back inside, and was sitting down on the couch with me. And like a few hours later, I was like, wait, aren't you going to work or what are you doing? He's like, oh yeah, my car didn't start. And I was like, aren't you upset? He's like, I could get upset, but that's not going to fix my car, is it? I was like, no. And he's like, yeah, so I'm not going to be upset over this. I called to get my car worked on, and I called out for work. So I'm just going to hang out with you for the day. And he wasn't stressed. It didn't bother him. And I've known him since we're 16, and I've never really seen him upset. He's only upset when someone hurts someone he loves, or if he sees someone, like if I'm upset, he's upset. But he's one of the most positive people I've ever met. And I always try to wonder, like, what would Matt do? And that's when I'm not thinking, what would Beyonce do? All right. Good question, though. And also, positive attitude has made my life so much easier. All right. Leslie Amaya. Snapchat, Leslie Amaya, 321. She loves bows and baseballs. And I don't know what those signs mean. All right. Why did you start your boxing career? How did it benefit you after you dropped out of college? I feel like me mentioning I dropped out of college was a big takeaway from this. It was not meant to be a big takeaway. It was meant to serve purpose of how important I thought an education was, because I dropped out of college not thinking I needed it, and it made my life a lot more difficult. So I wouldn't say it benefited my life at all after dropping out of college. Now, I do wish I would have enrolled into a trade school, but I do see college being beneficial to certain people. But personally for me, trade school would have been better. And it's nothing against college degrees, but also let's not take anything against trade schools, because they make great money. You get your certification a lot faster than you would get a master's degree, but hey, there's nothing to look down on. As long as you have a steady backup plan, a steady education, certification, or degree, I'm all for it. And why did I start my boxing career? It was the first thing I found I was good at. I never gave much effort to anything because I was never naturally good at anything. And I joined boxing to lose weight, not be good at boxing. So when I did boxing for years trying to lose weight, I somehow got good at it. And I learned you get good from repetition. All right, next question. Erubiel, Erubiel. Vasquez. How often do your biggest worries or fears come true? How do you ever overcome them? How often? I don't think anyone's ever asked me the question. How often my biggest fears and worries come true? Here's one thing I realized. In the history of forever, everything has always worked out 100% of the time, every time. Maybe not the first time, but eventually it always works out. So I have to remind myself that. But no, I don't even know what my biggest fears would be. No, actually, I think we build our biggest fears in our head, and our biggest fears are never realistic. It's always something to do with our ego, where we don't want to be embarrassed. Like, I'm afraid. Like I'm always afraid to get knocked out, but I'm not afraid of being knocked out. I'm afraid of being laughed at for being knocked out. And a lot of times our fear just comes from our ego. And when you actually think about what your biggest fear is. And look at it objectively from the outside and take your ego out of it. It's not that much of a fear. Like, something doesn't work out for you. Your life isn't perfect. If that's your biggest fear, like, if it ain't death, it ain't a real fear. All right? Reyes, and that's not to undercut anybody's fear, but just remember, overcome your fears. It's not the end of the world. Other people have done it. Now, Reyes _ Lauren, how do you manage to continue with the backlash you received? My hard-headedness. When people called me a failure in 2012, I wanted to prove to them I wasn't. And the hardest part about failing is not the failing itself, but it's how long it takes to prove that you're actually capable of the things that you said you were capable of. And actually, I decided to continue with everything just to prove everyone wrong. And I realized I was doing things for other people and not doing them for myself. So I would have changed that. Now, Jose Quintana. I'm hoping I'm not butchering your names, guys. What motivates you to move on? the fact that I don't want to be in the same place that I'm currently in. So if you're, because there are people in life who are happy where they are, and I envy those people. But a lot of times I always want to continue to grow. I always want to move forward. I always want to get better. I always want to be more accomplished. So what pushes me is, what motivates me is, I don't want to be where I am, so I have to keep moving forward. It's kind of hard to understand, but that's just me personally. Next question. Your boy Pedro Medina, private profile, 2 posts. Did you ever go back to college, and specifically, did you realize boxing was your passion? No, I didn't. And when I realized that boxing was my passion, I don't know. It was always just something I did. Like, after I started doing it, it's all I did. I didn't hang out with anyone really. If you want to hang out with me, we were going to go work out. So I lived in the gym, and I don't know, it's what I didn't even think of it as a passion. Like, oh, I got to go do my passion. It's like, I have to breathe. I have to eat. I have to drink. I have to sleep. I have to go work out. Like, it was just a part of my everyday life. And now that I look back at it, I'm like, oh, wow, I did that a lot. But when you love something, when you find the thing that you love, you're not going to realize it's a passion. You're just going to be like, oh, I have to do that thing, or I won't survive as a person. If you find that thing you love, I envy you. I found it. Ruby Barron. Did you ever feel as if your career wasn't to be taken seriously? I felt at times that other people didn't take my career seriously. Yeah, but again, I play a sport, and I'm not saving lives or anything. So I know a lot of people wouldn't take boxing seriously, and they think boxers are dumb and boxers are aggressive or mean or angry and frustrated. I'm not. I'm a happy dude. I'm articulate. I'm smart. I'm not an angry person. So I wish that people would take my career in boxing seriously. But since I pursued speaking, people take my career in speaking seriously because I take my career. And actually, it doesn't matter how serious someone takes your career. If you're not completely passionate about it and driven and putting your energy into it, if you're not taking it seriously, no one else will take it seriously. So, yeah. Andrid_Ocha. How long have you been boxing for? I've been boxing since 2005. I'm really old. All right. All right. Puro Marquez. I can't pronounce anything really. Elchi. Let's not even try. All right. First question. What kept you motivated when you felt the most down? Proving people wrong, actually. Proving people wrong and proving myself right. Proving people wrong by proving myself right is what got me going on. What are the requirements to win a scholarship? I spoke about it in Kansas City. In Arizona, I'm not sure what their boxing scholarship is like. But again, speak to your guidance counselors. They will help you with the scholarships. What is your opinion towards first impressions and second impressions? I think if your second impression is strong enough, no one will remember your first impression. And if your first impression wasn't strong, no one will ever remember they met you. So if you walk into a room, you don't make any impression at all, the next time you meet that person, they'll say, hey, nice to meet you. And you'll be like, oh, we met before. So that'll be your second impression. And I basically told you guys the angry person I was and who I used to be, and then I changed my name and I became a whole new person. So I just made a second impression or first impression. So I don't believe impressions being anything. You can always change who you are, and you can always change your reputation. It might take a long time to change your reputation because it takes forever to build, and it's so easy to lose. It's like climbing a mountain. It's hard to go up, but it's very easy to slide down. And the last of questions, what college did you go to, and what were some difficulties you faced? Went to Indian River Community College, which has recently changed to Indian River State College. I still won't say I went to a state college. It was a community college when I went. But the difficulties I faced was I have issues with retaining information. So when I read, I have to read I read the same page sometimes 3, 4, 5 times. So it takes me a lot longer to read than someone else. Like if I read out loud, I can read out loud great. I pronounce the words great. and you think I'm a great reader, but I can't make sense of the information I read. So that was one of the big difficulties. And that's why I work better with like hands-on things and learning the process and seeing things done or explained to me over and over again. And in college, they don't really care to explain things over again, unless you find a teacher who does. All right. Good question. Questions. All right. Nick Aboit. What motivated you to become a public speaker? What is one thing about thing you would let an aspiring public speaker know about public speaking? Boom. Great question. I would say the number one thing to do, and it sounds like a cliche, is be yourself. Everyone else is taken. I don't like that whole everybody else is taken, but seriously, be yourself. Because I know a lot of public speakers who come out there and they want to be Ray Lewis or they want to be Tony Robbins. Actually, be yourself, add your own twist, and speak to people the way you wish someone would have spoken to you. Now, I know a lot of motivational speakers are in your face and they're motivational and they're screaming, and I'm not that type of guy, and I don't like when people speak to me like that. What I do enjoy is I like humor. So what I like to do is I like to add jokes and fun into my presentations, because if someone's laughing, they're listening. If they're listening, they're learning. If they're learning, mission accomplished. So I would say also get in front of crowds. Speak as much as you can and record every time you speak, whether it's audio or video. Video, if possible. If not, record it on your phone, just the audio, and listen to yourself. Because sometimes people stutter when they're nervous, and I used to do that as well. And sometimes when you have, let's say, you have a microphone with a cord, you end up playing with the cord and distracting the crowd. These are things that you learn, that you do, your little unconscious habits when you're watching yourself. Although it's very cringy to listen to yourself speak. If you ever heard your voice in a voicemail, you're like, oh, is that what I sound like? You sound weird to yourself. So I would say one of the things you would need to do as an aspiring speaker is speak as much as you can. And do it for free in the beginning, because if you do it for free, people's expectations are very low and it's easy to surpass. And once you get good, then you can start moving up and speaking at bigger groups. And figure out what you want to speak on. Actually, what is your name? Nick. Nick, do me a favor. Send me a DM and tell me that if you are an aspiring speaker, tell me you're an aspiring speaker. I wrote some blogs and stuff I've never released, but I'll email them to you. I just ask, don't share them with anyone really. But it's just about how I got into public speaking and just kind of my journey. I'm going to eventually release it, but I'm not ready to release it as yet. It's not done. But I think a lot of it in there will definitely help you. And it's awesome that you want to become an aspiring speaker. Okay, Shocklock_barrel. Private page, I like it. What was a key point in your life? Why? Key point in my life was 2012. It's when I was suspended. I was depressed, got addicted to some things, got clean, became sober, became a vegan, changed my name, returned to boxing. That was a pretty key point in my life. I literally symbolically killed off the old me and was reborn into awesomeness. All right. Daniel Corrales, .771. What do you do with your time other than boxing or educational speaking? That's basically all my time. I live in a van. I travel from state to state, city to city in the van. Do all my emails on my laptop. I keep a Wi-Fi router in my fanny pack, so I always have Wi-Fi where I go. And when I'm not doing that, I also MC festivals and I do stand-up comedy at clubs. So, yeah, those. So my job, just a lot of words. Just a lot of words. Next question. Javier Castillo 394. I talked to you about comedy. What motivated you to get into comedy? Oh yeah, we spoke. Keep performing, man. More stage time you get. Just like I spoke about speaking, the more stage time you get, the more comfortable you be. But record yourself. You'll start to hear the setups to your jokes. And right now, when you're pretty green, and I am as well. I'm not like Dave Chappelle or anything, but you rely on shock humor and offensive humor to be funny. And that's okay. And people might judge you for it and say you're a bad person because of your jokes. That's just a part of the process. As you become more mature and you start to write more developed jokes with misdirections, punchlines, callbacks, then people will start to respect your art. But you're going to have to suck you're going to have to suck in the very beginning. And you're going to have to get off stage after bombing, knowing that you did a terrible job, smile and tell yourself next time's not going to be that bad. And that's the only way to get better. And there's no way to practice other than getting actual stage time. And what I would say to do is what you have is what not a lot of people have. You're starting comedy and you're still in school. You should be entering every talent show at schools. You should be setting up if you can. And I challenge you to do this. And if you can schedule this, next time I'm in Arizona, we'll try to coordinate it, and I'll come and I'll join you. I would say, because I'm always advocating for people starting start your career in high school. So if you want to be a comic, what I would say is, what you should do is have a comedy show in a classroom. After school, see if a teacher would give you a classroom, you set up chairs, and you do your comedy set. I challenge you to do that. Do a 10-minute set after school or during lunch, whenever. You should be doing as much comedy as you can. You should always be writing jokes. Now, if you can do that, I will open up for you next time I come to Arizona. All right? And Javier, that's me extending a challenge to you. And I hope you do it. All right. Oh, yeah, I should answer what motivated me to get in comedy. I actually went to free comedy night, which was open mic night, and I was like, these comics aren't that good. And I didn't realize open mic nights where new comics go to try out their jokes for the first time. So that's what I did. And I was like, I'm amazing. And I actually wasn't. I'm still not amazing, but always getting better. All right. Gio_Sanchez_01. Giovanni. Had to change accounts. Sometimes you got to change it up on them, son. Are you looking to get back into college at any point in time? No, but what I'm looking to do is take some courses or Ely's classes in SEO and other communication classes to help grow online businesses and things of that sort. So maybe it's not college, but I'm still going for some form of further education with just kind of like SEO, websites, connecting, advertising online, and things of that sort. So I'm taking my speaking into another direction to hopefully get my message across and help others in need financially. So more to come with that, and I'll get a little more specific a little later on in the future when things start to come together. Good question though. So_who4842. Oh, that rhymes. So_why. Was there ever anything that made you feel like boxing wasn't for you anymore? Actually, yes. And this was a great last question. Recently, I always felt like, oh, boxing's my thing. Boxing's my thing. And then I found speaking. And I found that I love speaking and everything about speaking more than I love the boxing. And also, no one's ever punched me in speaking. Yet. All right. Thank you for all of the questions. And just those out there, Javier, your challenge is still out there. And record it. Send it to me. And also, you have a yearbook club. You have a photography club. You probably have a class for video. Have a student come down and record you. Make quality content. Then chop it up and post it online. Grow yourself as a speaker. And I see that on your page, I believe it was baseball you play. What was that? Yep. So you play baseball. That's okay. On days your team doesn't have practice, perform for them too. Perform as much times as you can. And also to end this, just want to say, don't let me dropping out of college be a reason for you not to consider it. Because I only mentioned that I did just to let you know that it was a regret of mine. Maybe not college, but at least a trade school. Set really big goals, but also have a backup plan. That is extremely important. And if anybody has any more questions, you can ask in the comments there, ask in the comment of this YouTube video, or you can even go ahead and send me a DM. All right. Thank you, Western School of Science and Technology. It's been a pleasure. Later, guys.